Good morning, Facebook. I'm still Daniel. It is, I guess, December 3rd. It's 9:24 a.m. Here in South Texas time. Um, so yeah, I've not done a video for quite a while. So maybe this is the first time you've seen one of my videos. Most likely it's not. So I am an ER nurse from Ohio. I do ER, I do ICU. I've done some med surge. I do critical care transport. I do a little bit of everything. But I am here in Texas working on a crisis COVID contract. It's not my first. So way back at the very beginning of April, I left my home in central Ohio and my job in the Columbus area and went to New York. And I worked for quite some time up there in the COVID ravaged New York City hospital system. It was incredible. It was an incredible experience all the way around. The people, the patients, just New York itself, and all the things that go with it. It was quite an interesting time. Since that time, I have been to Texas. This is my third trip to Texas to work. The first one was in July when they had their very worst. I had a short trip after that, and this is my third trip. I'm with the same company each time. I go where that company sends me. So I make myself available. I don't know where they're going to send me before they send me. They say, hey, we have this kind of a position available. Are you able to go? And I say yes, and they say, here's the city, here's the hotel, be there by 10 p.m. tomorrow night. I don't even know what hospital I'm going to. So I show up, and I'm like, hey, what hospital are we working at? And then I find out. So that's about how much control I have over that situation, and that's okay. I am here to help where I'm needed. So to go back a little bit, after New York, and to this day, I still get asked a lot of questions about my first trip to New York and about subsequently my trip to Texas when Texas was in really bad shape in July. And people ask me, hey, how bad was it really? Because it seems as if lots of people in lots of places, they assume that COVID is not as bad as the news presents it to be. I, to this day, feel that the news doesn't do a good job of portraying it, and it's not that they portray it as being worse than it is, it's just that they cannot show you the full accounting of how horrible this disease process is. And it's worse. It's worse than anything anybody can show you on TV. It's worse than any anecdotal story that anybody can tell you. And is it that way for everybody? No, absolutely not. Is it only old people? Is it only sick people? Is it only people with like really terrible pre-existing conditions? Yes and no, but mostly not. I want to try to be as honest and complete with the information that I can give you as I can be, because I don't believe in dumbing this stuff down too much. I figure that people deserve a real and complete a story as I can give you, and so I will do my best to tell you the truth and reality. So to kind of go back to um, why this is such a horrible and insidious thing. Um, so I had COVID in April, and I didn't really even know that I had it. I got super lucky. I had some aches, I had some pains, but I'm an old man running around doing a young person's work, working 80 plus hours a week in New York City, not getting enough sleep. Yeah, I figure I'm going to be sore, I'm going to hurt. And it wasn't until after it was pretty much over and I started feeling really good. I was like, gee, I wonder if I've been sick. And then a little bit after that, I get tested for antibodies, and it lit up like a Christmas tree. And I was like, I'll be darned, I had it, hardly even knew it. And then, I've taken care of younger, healthier people, athletic people, strong, healthy people who get this and they don't do well. I wish I can't really, in good conscience, talk, in too many specifics about too many people that I've taken care of, but young, healthy people succumb to this disease. Strong, vibrant people succumb to this disease. And that's as plainly as I can put it. Is everybody going to have that experience? No. But we don't get to pick. This just kind of takes who it wants. And is it everybody? No, it's not. Early on in New York City, secondary to a number of factors, some of it being the fact that New York City's hospital system was absolutely overrun. They had 20 pounds of work and 5 pounds of capacity. And when that happens, people don't get the care they need and they don't have the best outcomes. Once we got everybody there and we got them the help they needed, things were better, but at the same time, the first time you build an airplane, it's not going to be as good as the fourth or fifth airplane that you build. And some of the things that we were able to work our way through and discover and pioneer in treatment modalities and types of treatment and ways of caring for people, they paid off. And so by the end of the time I was in New York, we were doing much better than when I first got to New York. So when you hear about some of the really horrific numbers about how bad things were in New York, those are real numbers. Those numbers happened. Now people are like, well, gee, why aren't the numbers as bad now? Well, once again, it's a combination of multiple factors. It's a combination of the fact that you have hospital systems that are less overwhelmed than what New York was experiencing, and you have people who have a game plan for taking care of sick COVID patients that is far better than the initial game plans that we were using. So when you have the ability to have 2, 3 nurses providing, really focused care on one particularly really sick COVID patient, using the things that people pioneered and discovered and worked through, then that person has a much better chance of having a good outcome than one patient who has a nurse who has 3 or 4 other really sick COVID patients, trying to kind of muddle through. That's just simple facts. So now people are like, well, gee, look, the numbers are so much better. This isn't that serious. Not so fast. And then there's also the meds, things that, we tried early on. We threw everything at everybody. We threw, vitamins and nutritional supplements at people, which some of them actually seem to help. That's great. We threw some meds that some politicians really liked to people. They didn't really seem to do much at all. We've discovered other things like certain steroids, which, hey, they really seem to help. Um, we've found that some of the clotting processes and some of the problems that people have with blood clotting, blood clots, embolisms, microclots, clots that affect hearts, clots that affect brains, um, they cause real problems. And as such, we've been using on some people in some places low dose medications to help protect people from inappropriate clotting, and that seems to have helped some too. This is all wonderful. So, but why am I talking about it then? Well, guess what? Now we're at the point where we're seeing a nation where you don't have one or two little hot spots. You're seeing a nation where there is a huge hot spot that is kind of festering and smoldering and coming to a head that kind of goes from Oregon through Utah, right through Montana and Wyoming and the Dakotas and Illinois and Indiana and right into Ohio. Missouri, Iowa. There's just a really large area of America where small towns, big cities are all smoldering. And things haven't really seemed to come to a head yet, and by golly, let's hope they don't. But we're, we literally a precious few days away from this thing really coming to a boil. And if that happens, there is not the reserve of nurses. There are not enough of me to take off and go some other place to help. And because when every place needs help, there's no places for these people to come from. So there's that. And then there's the issue of if instead of a few thousand people might need particular medications over a given period of time, you may have 10 times that many people need those medications for that given time and for an extended period of time on past that. And if and when that happens, some of the light scarcity of resources that we saw when we only had small areas with really big usage happening, what's going to happen when you have a really large area and many times more people requiring those same medications? The answer is that you run out of those medications, and some of these medications there's no really good replacement for. So we could be a few weeks away from a lot of patients being really sick without the proper professionals to take care of them, nor will those proper professionals have the appropriate medications. That is the reality that we are sadly very close to right now. And let's hope it doesn't happen, because the suffering and the pain and the terror of that is very real, and it's very sad. And that's something I've had a really serious existential crisis with over the last several weeks as I've seen this issue kind of coming to a head. It's so when I went to New York and my first trip to Texas, it felt like even though things were really bad in both those trips, it felt like the things that we were doing were important and valid, and that we were giving America a chance, giving the world a chance to, pump the brakes and provide protection and get things under control so we could ride it out until we had the ability to make enough PPE and develop therapeutics and develop, test, and distribute vaccines. And we have a reality that we just have a lot of people, a sadly statistically relevant portion of America, who through willful indifference and a desire for seeming ignorance, they protest loudly, throw up their hands, accuse everyone of having nefarious goals, and they feel that it's their duty to act in ways that put other people at risk. And some of the things that these people are talking about are absolutely amazing, and they strain my ability to really wrap my head around them. One of those things is that after the election, you won't see any COVID. It'll just go away. It's guess what? Here we are. It's December. It's still here, and it's getting worse. But those folks, where are they at? They've got now 3 or 4 other new claims. They're talking about the things that the vaccine, they won't take it because it's got microchips in it that are gonna track them or harm them or mark them. It's going to affect their DNA. I could go through the arguments and provide information that counter all of these issues, but I don't even see the point. Nothing I tell you, some, dude from Ohio sitting in Texas, nothing I'm going to say is going to convince these people, because there's so many sources out there that are so much better than what source that I am, and they can't listen to those folks, so why would they listen to me? It's painful, but I can point out the fact that they keep on being demonstrably wrong. All the things they predict are wrong. The fact that this virus is never going to turn out to be anything, it was wrong. And the fact it can never happen anywhere else other than New York City, they were wrong. And it'll go away when it gets hot, and it was wrong. And it'll go away after the election, and it's wrong. And they're just wrong. And all of the things that they're saying now are, that they're hedging their crazy cockamamie, drummed up ideas about, though, sadly will prove to be wrong in time as well. And and so even if they decide to come around in a couple of months, it's too late, because the damage is already done. The light at the other end of the tunnel that we're seeing right now is not the other end of the tunnel. It's a train coming right at us. And I fear that the bell has been rung, and you can't unring that bell. We are now in a slow motion shipwreck, and we're watching the carnage unfold before our eyes, and that's where we're at. So yeah, yay. We've got all of this stuff to look forward to. Isn't that wonderful? So what do we do now? Hopefully we give a lot of support to the folks who are making vaccines. Hopefully we give a lot of support to the folks that are going to be making and distributing therapeutics. hopefully we're going to keep ourselves healthy and stay away from each other, and we're going to wear masks, and we're going to encourage other people to do the same, because every dose of these medications that are scarce that we save is a dose that we can give to somebody else who really needs it. Every hospital bed that we save is a bed that not only do we not use, it's a bed that somebody else who really needs it can have it. Sorry, I'm getting kind of sleepy. Last night was my first night on the floor working back here in Texas. So yeah, this is, I guess, day +1 for me this time. So I don't know how many of these videos I'm going to make while I'm here this time. I don't know. I might do a lot of them. I may not do any more. I have no idea. I've had a lot of people ask me about doing a video and doing more videos. So I felt compelled to go ahead and sit down and do this one. But I don't know how many more I'll do or what I'll do it on. If folks have specific questions about anything, please feel free. Drop me a note, shoot me a message, drop me a text. Put it in the comments here on this video. I got a lot of people who, followed, my YouTube channel when I was in New York. Thank you for that. Got people that followed me when I was in Texas, second time. Thank you too. If you guys who don't know me through other means see this on YouTube and it pops up and you watch it and you have questions, throw them in the comments. So I'm sure there are things that, I probably have some kind of really loud, overblown opinion about that I could share that just don't occur to me right now. But I think, I'm going to go to bed because I'm tired and I've got to be back up and at it tonight. I'll be working 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts. So that's somewhere north of 40 hours. I'm not sure how many that it really works out to. 6 times 12, so it's going to be, 72 hours? Yay. It's better than the 84 that I do other times. So, thank you guys. Appreciate you watching. Ask questions. Let's see what you got. We'll see where we go from here. So let's hope some of our worst fears don't come to pass on this, because if they do, it's going to be really terrible. But 23 minutes in, I'm going to call it a night and get some sleep. Take care, guys. Love you all. Bye.